Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About It Part 2, the show where, you guessed it, we eat tacos and we talk about it. I'm your host, Zach Roughton, and we have a very special guest today, our pastor, David Waldroup. David, how are you doing today, man?
And I'm so good, and I'm ready to eat these tacos.
You're ready to throw down on some tacos?
I'm hungry.
I am too. We got actually some really cool tacos today from a very special friend's Tour Tacos. Go ahead and let's show off what we got here.
If you know, you know.
This is the legitimate good stuff right here.
So what are you working with here?
I have, two El Pastor, and I really like the flavor of the fish tacos, even though they're not that filling.
Good.
So
Maybe
I had to get those.
Eat the fish tacos first, so I don't have to smell that. I got the chicken. and the chicken and the chicken.
All three.
So I just, I'm a man of consistency. So that's what I do.
He keeps it simple. He keeps it very simple.
Real simple guy. I
like
am.
it. Also,
Yes, sir.
shout out to Tour Tacos. Thank you for the tacos today. Go support your local business during this crisis. They could use some love. They just reopened, so go check them out if you haven't yet. But today, I'm very excited to have you here on Let's Talk About It. This is our second time to do this, and part of the reason I wanted to bring you into this conversation is because you have a very special and unique look into Go Church from the very beginning, and
It's true.
a bunch of different angles all the way through. So that's kind of what I wanted to hit on today. But before we go into that, just tell us a little bit about yourself,
Yeah, so I'm David.
While you're doing that, I'm going to eat a taco.
Go ahead and eat your tacos. I'll eat
Break
these
the
at
ice.
some point. So I'm David, and I have been on staff here since day one, since Go Church started. And man, I've served in every staff position, overseeing kids, youth, small groups, outreach, everything but worship, to be honest, because I can't sing. But if I could sing, I probably would have done that too.
No, you can sing, my friend.
So,
Maybe we can get him to sing today. I don't know.
well, I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not shy to ever sing. It's not like I'm ashamed of it. I just don't want to put people through that.
You're just
So-
looking out for everybody. I
Yeah. So it's really I have perfect comfortability with my singing. But yeah, so been doing that,
Yeah.
and man, I've seen so many cool things, and so it's an honor to now to get to serve as the campus pastor.
Yeah.
That is something that I consider the highest honor. Because I just love these people, and so it's good to be here. It really is. It's
That's
good to
cool,
be
man.
here.
And if you didn't know, he's like one of the best campus pastors of all time. So
Wow.
he's a pretty awesome dude. But some people don't even know how far back you and Pastor JC actually go. Like, can you kind of shed some light on that?
So that's a good question. I met Pastor JC when I was in 7th grade at North Georgia Youth Camp. I've known Kimberly since I was 3 years old. She was my Sunday school teacher, and actually when I was a 6th grader in the youth group at the South Metro campus, which had a different name back then, it wasn't Go Church yet.
Right.
She was a senior in high school, and all the guys, including me, had a crush on her. I'm gonna be honest. I've told her that before. And but her dad was my pastor growing up.
Right.
So she started dating Pastor JC, when I was in, middle school. And at 7th grade, he shows up at this North Georgia youth camp. And let me tell you, Zach, I was running that ping pong table. And I'm not even trying to sound tough or cool, because we're sitting here. Like, I was defeating everyone on that table. So Pastor JC got wind of it. And he came in and played against me. And, I'll let him tell you who won or lost that one. I won't put him out there like that. But we met on that ping pong table. And
So that was, I didn't actually know that was like the first time you met was in a competition.
it was in a competition.
Okay.
Yes. And so many stories.
You
of-
two guys are very competitive guys.
Yeah,
so-
I'm not fun to play with. Like, even when we were at our staff advance 2 years ago and you wanted to play me in Madden, I was like, no. And you were like, why? And
That's
I was
true.
like, look, you're not gonna have fun. Like, it's not fun to play against me in anything.
I'm still trying to get this man to play me in Madden.
I'm not going to, and I love to play, but if I win, I'm a jerk, and if I lose, I'm an even bigger jerk and a sore loser. So it's not going to be fun for you no matter what. But that is where I met Pastor JC, and I could tell so many stories about playing games against him.
Yeah.
So we meet there. Then 2 years later, he becomes my youth pastor when I was in 9th grade, and then went through high school, graduated, interned with him for 2 years in that youth ministry, transferred to Lee University, a Christian school in Tennessee, got my degree, and then he invited me up here to plant Go Church in the summer of 2013.
Wow.
And haven't looked back since.
Wow, I've been here since. Here
That's
we
my
are
boy.
in 2020. Take a bite of your tacos, man. I know it's hard.
I cannot wait. I can't even wait.
My man's he's been sitting here this whole time doing all the talking. He hasn't even gotten to eat yet. But no, I think that's really neat. There's so much history there, and I think that's one of the cool things about your role as the campus pastor of our Germantown location, but also just Go Church. Like, there's so much like family, really. I mean, you guys go so far back, and there's so much unity there. And so I think it's cool you have that insight. Kind of fast forward a little bit, when it was getting time to plant Go Church, you know, a lot of people don't really know what it was like. I don't even know what it was like in the very beginning of what planting Go Church was like. What did it look like? How did it feel? Where was it even at on the first day? Like, can you kind of give us some context into that?
Yeah, for sure. So we had a building, actually, when we started. The church was actually started out, it was a church that Pastor JC took over called Redeeming River Church.
Wow.
And it was on Middlebrook Road, right next to Bocelli Pizza, near Seneca Valley High School. And now it's actually a Korean church. But we started out with that building, and for 6 months we were operating as Redeeming River. Then we shut the church down for almost a month, relaunched as Go Church in April of 2014. And we experienced rapid growth. My first Sunday here, church had in attendance 84 people, including children.
Wow.
And then,
Which at the time being, you were the children's and youth.
I was doing children's and youth.
Right.
Yeah, youth ministry wasn't even really existing yet.
Right.
And so we were about 80. I think it was 82, 84 people, including kids and youth. And then when we launched Go Church, we were at over 200. I think it was 230, 240 something. So we started outgrowing that building really quickly, and a lot of logistics went into it. But that same summer, 2014, is when we moved to Regal Cinemas Germantown because we needed more space, especially for kids ministry, because that's where we were seeing the most growth. So yeah, that's how we started. And let me tell you, man, going in from having a building, going into being portable, learning how to set things up at a movie theater, like, we learned the hard way that everything needed to be on wheels. So for all of you youth that are watching this, or maybe anyone else that serves on our Go team and you're helping with setup and tear down, if you think it's hard now, we did not think it through. And we had people carrying big, heavy wooden shelves and setting up like so much pipe and drape. Like, we were just figuring it out as we went. We didn't know what we were doing, but we knew that God was in it. And so we were excited about that.
That's cool. And if you didn't know, that's how Pastor David got all of his gains during his time at Go Church, lifting all the heavy shelves.
You could say that.
Before the wheels were on our stuff. That's crazy to me because in 2014, I was junior to senior in high school.
You would have been in the youth group.
Yeah, I really would have. So you could have been my youth pastor. You know, back then, there was a lot of crazy things going on in my life where I was totally not connected to Go Church. And I think we all have those moments in our lives where it's like, wow, can you explain that a little bit? So what we actually did, and I didn't tell Pastor David about this, I did a little bit of a deep dive on your social media. And, excuse me, I've got tears in my eyes because this salsa is
I should have told you
spicy.
that. So anytime you go to a Spanish restaurant, if it's this color red, don't go hard on it.
I've had it before, but it's just been so long.
Don't get too emotional now.
So what we did is I did a little bit of a creeper deep dive on your social media, and I have a few pictures here that just a little bit of context, a little bit of explanation as to what's going on here.
I don't even know. I have not seen this.
I didn't even ask permission. So you'll see the pictures on the screen. All right, so here's picture number one. Can you give us a little bit of context as to what's happening here?
Yeah, so we went to, this is when I was the youth pastor.
Okay, yeah.
And got food in my mouth here. I'm such a slow eater. This is gonna be hard for me.
You got it.
So I was the youth pastor, and we went to a corn maze in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Yep.
And we did 2 different teams. The other guy in this picture, his name is Casey Duck. He also moved up from Atlanta, and He served as our youth worship leader, and he led all the media stuff for the church. But we took our whole youth staff and we split the entire youth group up into two different teams. There was the black team and the orange team, because at the time that was our youth colors.
Right.
So I was leading the black team, obviously, and we had face paint. And I tried, you can't even really tell, but I tried to have the two different smears underneath my eyes like a football player. And then one of the other members of the youth staff took some of the face paint and came and put it on under my nose and made me look like Hitler. And so I had to then fill in my entire mustache, and then I looked like Charlie Chaplin. So then I just smeared the face paint all over my face. Yeah. So, and I was obviously like out of hair gel or something, because I was just kind of leaving the hair down.
I like it. I thought it was a ninja, honestly. I thought it was like a costume contest.
No, that was just a big old faux pas.
A ninja and a samurai. The second photo we have here.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Was it Geek Day?
Can I tell you? So this was at a wedding, and man, honestly, the person might be even watching this, and that's okay. So I was at a wedding, and I later found out that I wasn't even invited to this wedding. I didn't even realize it. I thought I was invited, but I wasn't. I found out midway through. Wow. But right there, the other guy in that picture, his name is Adam Baird, and the church I worked at right before here. He was the high school pastor, I was the middle school pastor, and we were absolutely idiots all the time. I can't even tell you the dumb things that we did. But yeah, that was me.
It looks like you're living your best life.
I was living the dream right there. Those were the days.
We got two more here.
Oh man.
He is a singer.
This is one of my favorite memories from college. So I was in college, and I went to Lee University. So that's a sorority there called DZT. And
do y'all have like a chant or anything?
So I was in a guys fraternity and a girls sorority at the same time, because the girls of DZT, would pick 9 gentlemen, and they would call them gentlemen from the campus, and they would make them honorary members of their club. Yeah. And so that was me and my friend Danielle, and it was, man, this is such a long story, but basically this was a talent show, and we had this whole dance prepared for the whole sorority, but the faculty ruled it inappropriate, and so, because it's a Christian school.
So you got disqualified?
So we didn't get disqualified, but last minute, there was 2 people in the club that were really good singers, but we were like, man, that's so boring. So me and this girl, Danielle, right off the spot, if you know, I doubt anyone listening to this knows who the Civil Wars are, but there's a song by the Civil Wars called Poison and Wine, and we did a pantomime to this song, so I'm actually lip syncing there. And man, the whole crowd went nuts, because there's a video of it somewhere out there. But
I wish I could find it. It looks like you sold the performance.
Oh, I was selling it. I was selling it big time. That was a good day.
I like it.
That was a good day.
This last picture, it made me smile when I saw it, because, like I said, you and Pastor JC go so far back.
This guy.
Well, time out. There's a lot of things happening. I kind of want you to. First of all, you're on a moped.
Yep.
Y'all are very uncomfortably close, and there's a package in between where you would put your feet. So.
Yep. So let's just start from the top of the picture up.
Okay.
And look at Pastor JC's hat right there. So that was his style. He was infamous for wearing those golfer hats.
It doesn't have a full bill.
No, it's it's like the Kangol hats or whatever. Yeah. So he was really famous for wearing those.
Right.
And then the scruff is there. Every pair of jeans Pastor JC wore always was from Buckle. He was like, back in the day when I was in the youth group, Buckle, that was the thing. So he's got that. This moped is because his house was right behind the church. So that's at the South Metro campus when he was the youth pastor. And he would use this moped to ride back and forth from his house to the church.
Okay.
We're carrying, it looks like some frozen beef there, probably because we're going to grill out for the students or something.
So this is when you were in the youth group then?
I was interning there, because that's my fraternity shirt on there. So I was probably 20 years old right there, and very scrawny. And I'm wearing the Croakies too, with the sunglasses. You see the little sunglasses straps
That's true.
around the neck. I dressed really fratty when I lived in Georgia. So
and let's not forget the basketball kicks at the bottom.
Yeah, those are the Air Maxes there. I had those shoes for a long time. It was hard to give those up. Those were good.
They look clean. If you guys didn't know, our pastor is kind of a baller. My man's can shoot, okay?
I thought I was good till I moved here. Everyone here is so stinking good.
Everybody's super talented. But thanks for being a good sport on the deep dive here.
I like that. That was good.
We brought out some some old photos. I did some creeping on his old Instagram, Harley Daiquiri. I had to go back.
Yeah, man, my Instagram, yo, look, my Instagram got hacked, man. I used to have followers, I promise I did. And then it got hacked, so I said, you know what, I'm done anyways. I was done with Instagram anyways. But then I came back, now I've got like 30-something followers.
Which, shout out to Harley Daiquiri. If you're watching this right now, give my
You're a
man's
jerk.
Instagram back.
You're a jerk, Harley Daiquiri, that's so rude.
It sounds like a made-up name.
Oh,
We have a couple more minutes here. I kind of wanted, like I said, you've had a unique opportunity to see the church, a lot of different stages, a lot of different things happening, building changes. Your role has changed in a lot of different times. There were times where you were part-time and doing FCA and working at the church, where you're full-time working at the church as a next-gen pastor, and then even now as a campus pastor. So kind of getting a little bit deeper here, what are some of the things that you really feel like God has just kind of like shown you through your time here at the church and through some of the things that you've gone through? Like, what are some things that you could give to the audience here?
Oh man, there's so much, honestly. I mean, I came in thinking in 2000. I moved here October 17th, 2013. I'll never forget that day. And I came in thinking, oh, these people aren't ready. I've got the world figured out. I've got ministry figured out. I'm gonna go there. They're gonna be blown away. And it took me about 2 weeks to realize I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I had to relearn everything. Atlanta is so much different than Maryland. So I basically realized really quick, I need to throw pretty much everything I've learned out the window and start over. So I would say the first thing I learned is to just start asking questions before I, make statements to people. Before I make these demands and everything and try to do all that, I need to figure people out first. I need to learn, and show them. It's the old adage, you probably even said it in sermons before, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so I learned very quickly, I needed to show people that I cared about them.
That's good.
And as I started to do that, I developed just this deep love for people, and that was the other thing I learned is that, when we show love to people, like as ministry leaders and just as people in general,
Right.
man, God blesses that. He really does. And the more love that we show to people, the stronger our feelings of love grow. See, the world teaches it the opposite way around. The world says, well, if you feel like loving on these people, then you will. But Jesus flipped that in reverse. He said, no, even to the unlovable people, I'm going to show love. And when I show love to them, I'm going to have even greater feelings for them. And so I started to learn that really quick. I've been humbled so much. Every time I thought I had it figured out, I didn't, and I've learned really just to rely on the people of Go Church, because every chance I get on every public platform, I always try to say that really the greatest thing outside of obviously the presence of God is our people. And I cannot imagine being anywhere else, doing anything. There's no other job I would take. There's no other role I'd want to be in. Yep. I am living my dream job at the dream church in a dream city. And man, it's amazing. And so had to learn a whole lot, but, and I still have a lot to learn, but it's been a really fun journey. It really has.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I know that's your DNA. One of the first things that you said to me when Pastor Savannah and I came here to interview, before we were actually a part of Go Church, was the thing that's the best about our church, the thing I love the most, and the thing that you will love the most if you stay here is the people. Yeah. And I've been able to see you like not only just say that but mean that. And I think if anybody knows this man right here, I mean, it's true. Like he loves the people, he loves this church, and it's just so cool to see somebody so excited about what God is doing in our church. My last question, and then it's going to be kind of a user's pick here on any story or whatever you kind of want to end on. But kind of getting kind of the same question, but applying it to the church. So not so much like what is the thing that God's shown you through this time, but what do you think, like, Go Church has been a thing for about 6 years now. What is the big statement that God has said through Go Church? I mean, you've seen all the behind the scenes, you've seen all the changes and moving forward and where we're even headed in the future. So what is the big statement that God is making through Go Church?
Man, I mean, it really is. this is so cliche because we say it every week, but it really is our vision statement.
Yeah,
you know,
I thought he might say that.
you know, that we love anyone from anywhere into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I think, you know, as a leader, I have failed and will fail in the future. But one thing I will never allow myself to fail at, and nor will Pastor JC or any of our staff, is we will not fail at loving people.
Wow.
And I really do think that the way that we've loved our people and the way we've loved our city is going to show. So we're just going to continue to do that over and over again. And any moment that either myself as a leader or as our church starts to sidetrack away from that, we've got guardrails in place to help us bounce back to no, that's not the vision. We're not trying to be the coolest church. We're not trying to look good on social media. We're not trying to be a certain type of way. We're gonna love people. We're gonna be who we are, and we're not gonna apologize for that. I can't apologize for not being Stephen Furtick. I can't apologize for not being Mike Todd. But I'm gonna be David Waldroup. And I'm gonna lead the way David Waldroup leads, and Pastor JC is gonna lead the way JC Worley leads.
Yeah.
We're not gonna apologize for it. We're gonna love people, and the people get blessed by it. Man, we're going to make them part of this family. And if people find another church that they want to be a part of, we're going to celebrate that as well. We just want the kingdom of heaven to get bigger. And so, man, I really think that that's what we do. We love people, and love doesn't always mean, you know, just, you know, letting people do whatever they want to. Love challenges people to grow, you know, and that's part of it too, that so many people don't think like, oh, well, if you love me, let me do whatever I want. No, that's not the case. You know, like, if you have a pet fish, you love them enough to leave them in the water because they're safer there. They'll die outside of it. You'll constrict them there and it's the same thing for us. You know, we love our people enough to say, hey, you're gonna thrive when you walk in God's will. So that's the same amount of love we show. So really does. It all comes back to that. No, there's no secret sauce. It really is just love.
Wow, I like that so much, and I do want to respect your time here. But man, as a friend, as a boss, as a peer doing ministry, it's a pleasure to get to do this with you, man. You're an awesome guy. If you can, real quick, just take a couple seconds here. Just one thing that you want to say to the audience before we bounce. Even look into the camera. Just one thing you want to let them know.
Yeah, that's so good. I want to tell you this because I know that most of you watching, you're in middle school and high school, and I want to tell you this. Look, stay connected. Stay connected to Go Youth. Stay connected to this community. I know you've got friends in your school. I know you've got friends that are out there doing all these other things, and that is what it is. But I want you to really stay rooted here because I'm telling you, you have no idea what kind of path you can be protected from, the amount of pain that you could be protected from if you'll just stay the course. You know, like for my life, and this is my testimony, is that I don't really have like a wild testimony. You know, I guess one story I'll share, and for those of you that are still watching, you know, when I was 15 years old, I had this kind of fork in the road moment. I know you've probably had those same moments in your life.
Right.
But I tell this story every time I get a chance to talk to youth. But I was going into high school. And so for me, at least in my middle school growing up, you know, I would go to birthday parties, I would hang out, and everything would be fun. The most dangerous thing that would happen is, you know, maybe some kids would try to sneak off and try to kiss each other on the cheek and stuff. And it was like, that was like the most dangerous thing. The middle school stuff where it's like, oh my God, ha. You know, and so I got to high school and I was invited to this girl's birthday party. She was 15. So I show up at the house and the mom is there, and dude, this was just me. This is just who I was. I was the kind of kid that I really loved like the parents even more than the kids. So like I was talking to her mom and I was like, hey, thanks for opening up your home. You know, thanks for letting us come in here, and we love Allison, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, well, you kids have fun. And I was like, wait, where are you going? And she's like, I'm going to let you guys have the house for the night. And there's probably 30 or 40 of us in there at the time. And I was like, but who's gonna watch us? You know, like who's gonna watch us? Like we're teenagers.
Everybody else is like, David, shut up.
Everyone's like, shut up. She's like, you guys will be fine. So she walks out, and then about 5 minutes later, the front door busts open, and all these seniors on the football team are just carrying cases and cases of beer. I mean, and they're just coming in left and right. And I had it really was a fork in the road moment for me. And I know this sounds over spiritual, but it really was the Holy Spirit speaking to me. And all I heard him say was, this is where you determine what path you're going to take. This is the moment you decide. And so you can stay here tonight and you can party and you can go down this road where you're gonna live this partying lifestyle, you're gonna make so many mistakes, you're gonna get caught up in, or you can get out. Wow. And so, man, I picked up my Nextel. It was a little flip phone, yellow construction site Nextel. I called my mom and she was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just now pulling into the driveway. And I was like, yeah, I need you to turn around and come get me. You know, this party took a turn for the worse. And so she did. She came and got me, and she cried, you know, because she was proud of me. Yeah. And we went and ate ice cream. And I'm not suggesting that hopefully anyone who knows me knows my heart. I'm not suggesting that I'm better than anyone who has made those mistakes. But what I do want to say, and if you're watching, what I do want to tell you is this. You do have a choice. You really do. And that day that I made that choice, man, I avoided so much pain that so many of my friends in high school and college and even today as adults, they were not able to avoid those mistakes. And they really wish they could go back in time and fix the habits they picked up when they were in high school, when they were in middle school. And so I want you to know, no matter what you've already done, you've got a chance today to move in the right direction. So stay connected to Go Youth. Ladies, if you're struggling with things and you feel like no one understands, you need to call Pastor Savannah. You need to call her up, even if it's 2 a.m. It doesn't matter. I've done that with Pastor JC when I was growing up. Same thing, fellas. If you're going through something, you feel like the rest of the world won't understand, you need to call up Pastor Zach because he's there for you. That's what it is. You can anytime. I mean, that's what this is all about. We want you to grow. Like that's not, Pastor Zach's not putting all this stuff together and reaching out to you guys as much as he can because he's got nothing else to do. He's doing it because he wants to see you grow. And so allow that process to take place. Don't resist God's will for your life. If something is sin, don't try to justify it. Flee from it because you're going to be better for it. I promise you. You're going to tell a way better story about your life when you make those right decisions now. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
So good. So good. So much wisdom in that too. So make sure, please, take his advice like such solid, good, great advice, especially for any young person that might be watching this right now. Like, I can't hit it home enough, but Pastor David, you did a great job of doing it, so I don't even have to.
There we go.
But honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. It's been really cool to be able to have this interview with you. And guys, thanks for tuning in on today's Let's Talk About It. If you liked it, if you enjoyed what we did here today, then just drop a comment in the comment section below. Hit that share button, send it to your friends, share it on your social media. We just want to get the word out about what God is doing, not only in Pastor David's life, but in Go Youth and in Go Church. Absolutely. But until then, we're going to finish these tacos, and we'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it.